Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. First, let me just say I hope everybody is having a blessed and wonderful day. And secondly, welcome to my new subscribers. I welcome you to this channel. I hope that you are blessed and encouraged by the word that the Lord gives me to give you all. Thank you for the likes and the shares and the comments and my personal emails. Again, you guys keep me encouraged. As you keep me encouraged, I hope that I do the same for you. Right now is the hour that iron is sharpening iron, and that's what we're supposed to do. And it's just a joy and a treat to come and just be able to give you guys a word that was placed in my heart, and I hope that it touches the heart that it is meant for. Not every time, a word is meant for you, but if it's not meant for you, just share it. It could be meant for somebody else. So with that being said, I just want to go right into this word. Really quick here, there have been people who have been saying that they were ready to walk away from standing. They have been growing weary and tired and truly at the point of just ready to give up. Me personally, as I have came into a close relationship with the Lord, I began to think like I don't really feel like people knew what they were walking into when they said that I do. Just because a spouse may be saying like I don't right now, that don't mean that you do too. That don't mean that you turn your back around, your back on what is right. You continue to stand for what is right no matter what, because it glorifies God. That's what we want to do. We want to glorify him with our obedience to what we know is true, and that is his word. So with that being said, let me just dive into this word, and I will be looking down. You married the ideal spouse, but now you are fighting in the spirit for the reality spouse. The ideal spouse is the one you created in your mind of how you wanted them to be, a fantasy image far from how it would be in reality. You walked in a marriage based around your emotions while missing how you would be tested and tried spiritually. We all walked into our marriages with the mindset of loving our husband or wife, declaring that this is who I wanted to be with for the rest of my life, flying high on what we believe is love, but then got hit with the reality of love being tested. Now the fantasy of how we thought it was going to be is weighed down by the reality in which we live. Some are ready to let go because the love they confess was emotions based, when real love has nothing to do with emotions at all. This is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters. 1 John 3 verse 16. It is written, "Dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth." 1 John 3 verse 18. And this is his command, not emotions based, but the Lord gave an authoritative order to believe in the name of his Son, Jesus Christ, and to love one another as he commanded us. 1 John 3 verse 23. Love is not simply meant to make us feel good, emotions based, rather to motivate us to respond in ways that make us imitate his goodness. Love sometimes demands that we act in very practical and even uncomfortable ways, which includes standing for a husband or wife that's in the world. Some have said they're ready to let go, and I have to say, don't let go of your spouse. Let go of how you thought it was going to be when you said I do. I've witnessed that some did not realize what they were saying I do too. So again, the fantasy and the reality are in conflict with one another. The vows that were taken were just words that were spoken, which should be taken more seriously, regardless if one is absent from the marriage. Just because your spouse may not be honoring those vows right now, don't mean you do the same. Excuse me. The commitment to your marriage was not just to one another, but it was to God. God knew our concept of love was different than his. And, one second here, and this is why he laid down his life for love, so that when we accepted him in our lives, we would now know real love. And by us having his love, which is real love living in us, we can keep standing in love for those we love. We must remember God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them. This is how love is made complete among us, so that we will have confidence on the day of judgment. In this world, we are like Jesus. And even though our marriages are experiencing a trial, which we're told in the word that marriages will experience many trials, we just don't give up because a spouse was led astray by the devices and deception of the enemy. Just like we would not give up on one of our children being saved and delivered, it's the same thing. We're joined to them spiritually, and regardless if they don't know it or not, we are helping to save their eternal salvation. We took vows that are recorded in heaven that we're bound to on earth and in heaven. I don't take that lightly, and I pray that those who are struggling with holding on don't either. We have to get to a place of who are we trying to please? Are we trying to please God, or are we trying to please our flesh? Are we trying to live in holiness or unholiness? I just read an article about a prodigal husband that said, God is more concerned about your holiness than happiness. Let that sink for a little bit. And your obedience to his word demonstrate that. You must realize that our spouses have been without Christ, and they're already getting hit with punishment, living in darkness. Don't add to what they are going through by turning your back on them. They need you more than you realize, and the vows you took before God means more to him than you realize. We have nothing to lose here. So don't allow fear or pride make you think otherwise, because it is written, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. 1 John 4 verse 18. And when pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with the humble is wisdom. Proverbs 11 verse 2. Through this stand, remember, you are doing this to glorify God no matter what. Let me say this again. Through this stand, remember, you are doing this to glorify God no matter what. You are doing it for God. You are doing it to please God. You are doing it to be obedient to God. You are doing it to demonstrate the righteousness of God. You are doing it to demonstrate the greatness of his word. I'm so sorry that I'm stumbling over my words, but you understand what I'm saying. You are doing it for the righteousness of God. You are doing what is right, you guys. And when you are doing what is right, you cannot go wrong. Again, I think sometimes our frustration becomes, we become frustrated, I should say, because we start looking at, the husband or the wife. We're taking our eyes off God and we're starting to look at them. It's time to let go and let God. Trust God. Let him lead you. Let him guide you. Let him strengthen you. Let him direct you. Do not give way to the things in which you see, because what you see is not always what it really is. That's what the Lord has told me. Don't go off what you see, because what you see, it don't necessarily mean that's what it is. I hope you guys, are really blessed by this word. And just remember, we are doing this for God. For God. We're saving a brother and sister who don't know any better. It's just like us trying to help save our children. We cannot just give up because they may not want the help, or they don't even know how far gone they are. But we do. So as we know that, then how could we, as people of God and really know the goodness of God, how could we ever turn our backs on anybody? If we're doing that, then I would have to question the type of relationship in which we really have with God, because those who are really standing with God is standing strong. We will have our moments, no doubt, but we don't sit up there and let those moments take us over, period. So with that being said, I love you all. Thank you for watching. God bless you. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.